Welcome to Midco Sports Magazine. Well, ever since the Emperor Titus built the Colosseum in Rome almost 2,000 years ago, the people have flocked to the newest arenas to see their athletes and entertainers. In fact, if you go outside the Sanford Fieldhouse here, you'll see columns on the exterior that give a little nod to those old Greek and Roman arenas. Well, the Sanford Fieldhouse opened here in 2012. The Pentagon just across the street opened a year later, and those two buildings have kind of set the stage for a building boom in the Dakotas that includes new arenas and stadiums and event centers. We will take you to Williston, North Dakota, where the city has built a $75 million rec center in the heart of the Bakken oil field. We'll go to eastern North Dakota and track the progress of two major projects there, the High Performance Center in Grand Forks and the renovation of the Bison Sports Arena in Fargo. But we start with a foursome of new facilities in the works in South Dakota, one in Sioux Falls, one in Vermillion, and two at South Dakota State University in Brookings. Much has changed around Coughlin Alumni Stadium in Brookings in the last 12 months. That big white building down there is the Dyke House Student Center. And that big brown spot just to the north that was nothing just over a year ago is now the biggest building on campus. The Sanford Jackrabbit Athletic Complex is 65 feet tall and 160,000 square feet of indoor practice and performance space.
First off, it's just the massive size, which will allow us to do a whole variety of things. Every student athlete is going to have an opportunity to gain in their experience here. The human performance piece, I think, is one of the unique ones, which is our strength and conditioning area, a brand new athletic training room, and then something we've never had before is a physical therapy and hydrotherapy space.
It is bricks and steel and lights and room to move around. But it is also a vote of confidence and a commitment to all Jackrabbit athletic and academic programs.
You have to have a place to do your work, and it's no different than someone who comes into an academic program and needs to study in a lab or to advance research or to go to a great library or a student union. For our student athletes, having that place to practice day in and day out is what's going to help them achieve their goals.
SEL is proud of the fact that this facility will impact the economy and the quality of life in the region. There is the possibility of hosting concerts and high school track meets and 9-man football games.
We know who we are and what we're trying to accomplish. We have a ton of pride about it, but we're also able to do some projects that are cutting edge, that are going to make a difference, that are going to allow us to do some different things because the marketplace is there. People want to be here. People want to bring sporting events or entertaining events to our state, and to be in where we have a couple projects that might help do that, we're pretty excited about that.
And yes, there is that other project, the new football stadium. Coughlin Alumni has been home to SDSU football for 51 years, but it will be systematically torn down and built back up, and eventually replaced in the same spot by the new Dana J. Dyke House Stadium.
We'll get some work done this fall, and then a majority of the work will happen after our last football game. We'll come in and take out the east and south side seating and redo that and get that all complete by the fall of 2015. And then the second phase will take place after the fall of 2015, which takes the west side grandstands down and puts up the tower and the west seating, and we'll have it open by the fall of 2016.
Well, that is the same timeline for completion of a major building project about 100 miles south at the University of South Dakota in Vermillion. Right now, the Dakota Dome is home to pretty much everything.
In the dome, we're a lot like a newborn litter of puppies all in a cardboard box, just all on top of each other. We have, office space is difficult, training space is difficult.
So to alleviate that stress, the school is breaking ground on a building located immediately south of the dome. It will be a new arena for basketball and volleyball, and will also house a science, health, and research lab.
Although it's a 6,000-seat arena, and we'll be able to house, not only sports and their administration offices, but you're also bringing in our health sciences department with physical therapy, occupational therapy, and kinesiology. So really the marriage between those two and the synergy that'll be created, I think, for us is an unbelievable benefit.
When the new arena is done in 2016, the 35-year-old dome will still remain home to football and indoor track. Recent renovations have added new bleachers to the west side. In fact, Herbster says the dome should remain a South Dakota landmark for another half-century.
It is your front porch, if you will. It is what brings people to campus, whether it's football, it's basketball, it's all the other events that we host in here. It is a rallying point for a campus and a community.
And for Herbster, it is an honor to be at the controls at this monumental time in the history of the athletic department.
It's not too often you get a chance to build something. So for me, it's extremely rewarding being able to watch this and help build this program into a Division I program. And that doesn't come along very often, you know, in your lifetime. And then now to turn around and be able to do the same thing and build a facility like this, you don't get those opportunities and those chances very often. And so often you only have one chance to do it right the first time.
And that is a sentiment shared by those in charge of building this. The Denny Sanford Premier Center in Sioux Falls is set to take the city to a whole new level of entertainment and athletic events.
Sioux Falls was due for a larger building. There was a pent-up demand for entertainment, as we've seen from just the way our ticket sales have gone. So our facility really makes sense.
The building will seat up to 12,000, making it the largest venue within almost a 200-mile radius. In between concerts, it will be home to Sioux Falls Stampede hockey, indoor football, and the Summit League basketball tournament.
Some of the reason why we're getting some of the sporting events we're getting is based on the building, because when you have the gross potential you do, the NBA teams become more interested for doing preseason games. The Summit League really kept their interest now that they had the opportunity to increase their revenues.
The new arena can be used in conjunction with the old arena, which are both connected by a convention center. And any one facility can be used in conjunction with any other. That will be the case when the city hosts the combined boys and girls state basketball tournaments in 2016. In the meantime, the Premier Center will find its place and its purpose among all the other new buildings rising up seemingly at the same time.
I think down the road you'll see that the facilities will enhance each other. There'll be times where maybe the Iceplex wants to host a larger tournament than what they can handle, and maybe we can supplement with our sheet of ice. The same with the Pentagon. They're doing some amazing things there, and of course we're always willing to partner with anyone to enhance the community.
Well, another community enhancement project is the ARC, the Area Recreation Center in Williston, North Dakota. We'll take you there a little bit later. But next, back on campus in North Dakota with a massive indoor performance center in the works in Grand Forks and a not totally new but definitely improved home for Bison basketball in Fargo. Welcome back to Midco Sports Magazine and our look at the building boom for athletic facilities going on right now in the Dakotas. Greg Ankers takes a look at what is going to be a huge new indoor practice facility in Grand Forks and a facelift in Fargo for the Bison Sports Arena.
There's a building boom sweeping across the upper Midwest as the two Division I schools in the state of North Dakota continue to enhance their facilities. Both the University of North Dakota and North Dakota State University are in the middle of major construction projects, and it's all in the name of creating a better experience for their student athletes. UND is in the middle of a nearly $19 million project as they build a state-of-the-art high-performance center for its track and field, football, baseball, and softball teams to utilize when the weather outside is less than ideal.
The biggest thing is it allows our track and field programs to actually get in and be able to practice on a true Division I first-class track. It also provides an opportunity for our football programs, particularly with the weather late in the season for practice and certainly in the spring, to be able to really take advantage of a full practice situation. It's been very difficult dealing with the elements sometimes to be able to have the kind of practice situations you want for your football program. So that's going to be really important. This is the first phase, and eventually additional phases will add sports medicine, athletic training into a complex with some additional building that has to be put on, and then we'll house the locker rooms, the coaches' offices will be here, meeting rooms as well. So you know, it's a process that's going to continue to be ongoing, but we're excited to be at this point.
The new High Performance Center is not the only project in the process for UND. The football game day experience will also be enhanced for fans this season.
We've got a whole new video board system going in at the Alaris Center. We also have new automated kicking nets, and that may not seem much to most, but that's an important improvement over there as well.
And that's not all. A major locker room renovation is in the works for the men's hockey team as well.
A men's hockey program, it's a Premier League program. We expect it to be in the top 5-6 teams in the country every year. Well, if you're going to be at the top 5 or 6 teams, you got to be able to recruit athletes that are going to get you in that position. part of that's facilities, function as well as appearance. And there's no question when you bring a student athlete into the Ralph or the Betty, or when we get this high performance center up here, it's going to be wow. And then you want that. That's all part of the process, absolutely. But at the same time, it's got to be functional, and it's got to make sense to make the game better for that student athlete.
75 miles south on I-29, there's familiar sounds of heavy equipment hard at work in Fargo. NDSU is displacing its basketball teams for the next 2 years as their basketball arena gets a complete renovation. This is where the Bison men will call home in the meantime, at Shields Arena, home for the Fargo Force of the USHL. The women's team will partner up with the volleyball squad at the Benson Bunker Fieldhouse. A tricky transition, yes, but it all adds up to a better brand of Bison basketball.
It's an exciting time at North Dakota State University Athletics, and in particular because of all the positives that are happening with our facilities. Behind us, of course, we have the renovation of the Bison Sports Arena, long overdue. A little bit to the west, we're going to have the new bubble that's coming in. And I think without question, we're going to have some of the finest facilities between here and wherever you want to attend within our region. It's just tremendous.
This project will cost more than $41 million, and in the state of North Dakota, 100% of that has to be privately funded, which can make it a major challenge to get things done. But when new buildings or renovations get the green light, it reinforces the support from the communities.
For us, if it's an on-campus situation or it's a facility that's totally dedicated to athletics, it's 100% can't use state funds. So for us, we have to get private support to do that, corporate support to get that done.
Nationwide, pressure continues to grow on universities like NDSU and UND as they compete with other schools for prized recruits. But here on the Great Plains, the drive to improve facilities doesn't come from outside sources, it comes from the colleges themselves.
I don't know that it's pressure as much as it is an expectation. And if you have a standard of excellence that we do in athletics at NDSU, then certainly the facilities have to parallel that philosophy. So it's just a constant movement towards trying to accelerate in all areas of emphasis. And facilities certainly is very visible because of the costs associated with it, but as well, it really is an arms race, but one that we probably don't look at in terms of keeping up with the Joneses as much as trying to make it a solid commitment.
And I think in the industry, you've seen it across the country and continue to see it in terms of facility enhancements and new facilities that go up. And a component of that is to make sure you're attracting the best, and obviously you want to have the best to get the best, and that's one of the reasons why you constantly work on your facilities. But at the same time, I think you want to make sure you've got facilities that are going to really help raise their game. That are really going to help them really achieve high performance.
And it's that drive that hasn't slowed the vision on campus one bit. There's a clear road leading to the next project. The only questions are when and how will the next facility upgrades get done?
Well, I think basketball. I think we clearly would like to be we eventually hope to earn the opportunity to be in a facility that has more seating capacity. It's 3,300 now, and I think in this market a 5,000 or 6,000 seat arena would make the most sense. But right now, we've got to justify that, and we're hitting at 1,800, 1,900 a ball game there. We've got to get beyond that mark and then sustain over a period of time. But I would say basketball, that's important.
The master plan would call for the renovation of the softball complex. It's in need of new dugouts. We certainly need to have some sort of a locker room venue out there. We're definitely going to need more of the bleacher system put in place.
But even if those plans have to wait a few years, there's still plenty to be excited about as the current projects are ongoing. Because in the end, both schools have positioned themselves to have facilities that will meet the needs of their student athletes for years to come.
Well, certainly the Ralph Engelstad Arena and the Betty, are great for us and serve us well as the university. The Alaris Center has been a great thing for our football program and certainly for the community as well. And this facility here is going to have a great community impact as well.
Just think about how the fans are going to be enjoying this facility. It'll be enhanced from a technology standpoint. There isn't going to be a bad seat in the house, and so we saw the impact of the Fargo Dome. Right? The impact of recruiting on the Fargo Dome. We saw the impact of the experience for the fans. It'll be a wonderful opportunity for everybody within the community, the region, and beyond.
All right, joined now by Greg Ankers. And Greg, this facility is right on campus at the University of North Dakota. It's kind of built on a sacred site, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Last year they tore down the old Ralph Engelstead Arena, and even though that building had been vacant since 2001, when they moved over to the new building, it still brought back a lot of nostalgic feelings for a lot of people. But this facility is about the future, and it's going to benefit UND and UND athletics for the long term.
All right, thanks a lot. Greg Ankers. When we come back, we will finish our tour of the biggest building projects in the region. We'll go up way into the northwest corner of North Dakota and a rec center like they've never seen before in Williston. Welcome back. Well, about 8 years ago, oil production started to take off in the state of North Dakota. Oil boom led to a population boom, led to a building boom, and right in the center of it all is a town called Williston, where oil is king, but a new rec center is now the town's crowning achievement. David Brown reports that the ARC is giving the town a chance to reestablish itself.
When you double your population in 2 years, there's not a community in the country that can keep up with that.
Against the wheat fields of open space, the sun glimmering with rays of hope, Williston, North Dakota is stuck in a familiar motion.
There was a tough time there, and I wouldn't sugarcoat that. I'll tell people it was 2009, 10, 11, 12, it was a tough place to live.
Beneath this town and several others in the western part of the state lies the Bakken Formation, where oil's been extracted at record rates for the past 5 years. The cash cow brought jobs and people to Williston, but it also brought something else, a reputation for being a town of transients, with high crime rates and a low amount of outside entertainment.
Some of the things that you hear nationally about Williston is just not true. There's a lot of good people that are coming to North Dakota and to Williston.
Affordable housing for all those people is still an issue, and construction crews can't build quickly enough. But the money from the oil boom is providing the city with the ability to invest in its future, and one of the biggest requests from citizens has already been granted.
This is the game changer for our community.
The Williston Area Recreation Center, nicknamed by the acronym ARC, is the largest city-owned rec center in the entire country. The $75 million, 236,000 square foot building opened in March, just 2.5 years after being approved through a November 2011 citywide penny sales tax.
It's been amazing to see the change in the attitude in Williston since this building opened. And I believe it's the building. I don't know what else would cause that. We've gotten some restaurants, we've got some retail, we've got some housing, but the biggest thing that's happened in this community is this rec center.
And when the biggest thing for the town is also the biggest building of its kind, the details become the biggest showcase.
We've got tennis courts, indoor tennis courts, which we didn't have before, and they're full all the time. We have a 60 by 40 yard turf field. And then we have the gym, which has 4 basketball volleyball courts with a 200-meter indoor track facility around it, where we'll be able to host indoor track meets. From there, we got the golf simulator, which is, again, top-notch. You can play 30-some courses on it, and it's being used. I thought it would die in the summer, but it's busy all the time in the summer. 2 racquetball courts that are busier than I anticipated, and then the water park. The water park is phenomenal. Two slides in there, the largest lazy river I've ever seen. Then a little zero-entry pool for little kids to play in, and then we've got the surfing simulator, the floor rider, probably our featured piece.
And all of that is just the ground floor. The top level contains a walking track, weight room, and plenty of exercise machines.
I hope this building represents that Williston isn't what everybody thinks it is.
Parks and Recreation Director Darren Kruger wanted to build an athletic facility when he first came to Williston. But before the boom, this oil town was dry on funds.
In 2009, the park district was poor. We were a poor park district, had old playgrounds, and old equipment, and our funding wasn't covering what we needed to buy new playgrounds. I mean, a new playground is anywhere from $70,000 to $80,000. Well, our budget was $1.2 million.
But thanks to the liquid gold, the Parks Department now has a solid ground and then some to provide a new foundation for Williston.
We've upgraded 13 playgrounds. We've done $5 million in capital projects since the vote in November of 2011. We had a 10-year master plan I finished in 4 years.
The economy has changed in Williston, and now so has the entertainment and the atmosphere. Kruger sees more than just oil workers walking through the door.
You got a social activity. That's what people were missing when the oil boom first hit, because it was just boom, let's go to work, and it was all the guys coming here. Now you're seeing more and more wives and more girlfriends and more families moving here. And that's a great thing.
When grand opening day came, it was, the place was packed and the whole town just seemed to change. I mean, everybody had smiles on their faces, the kids were excited.
Mayor Howard Klug has been a lifelong resident of Williston, but he's never seen the town quite like this.
We're building neighborhoods, we're building the town, we're building facilities such as this. You come up here, you move up here with your family, and you adopt this as your own hometown, and you make Williston your hometown.
People walk in with a smile, they leave with a smile, they're friendly to people in the building, they're talking to people again. That's the old Williston. In the old Williston, you knew everybody in town, you talked to people, hey, how you doing? You waved to people. You know, when the oil boom hit, that kind of went away. And now with this building, people come in and go, hey, I haven't seen you for a while, and they talk to each other, and it's just been a community gathering spot.
The boom has been big. This building is bigger. In a town that's now known for its excessive resources, its greatest resource, a small town identity, is moving back above the surface.
This has been the greatest thing, in my opinion, that's happened to Williston, North Dakota.
Right, here's David Brown, and David, obviously a lot of traffic in and out of Williston almost every day of the week, and a lot of traffic around this new facility. People are putting it to good use already.
Absolutely. More than 1,200 people on average are going into this facility, which is pretty amazing when you think about it. It's pretty much a gym. And for a town like Williston, they're going to keep growing. In fact, Darren Kruger, the Parks and Rec Director, said they'll have to build another facility on the west side of town probably in the next couple of years.
All right, the oil boom's been booming up there for almost a decade now. What do they see as the future of the oil boom around Williston?
The future is long and it is bright. 75 years minimum this oil boom is going to keep lasting in Williston according to most reports. So they're going to have to harvest that money and keep building infrastructure because that town population is going to be over 100,000 by 2020.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
David Brown. And thank you for watching Midco Sports Magazine.